Right then.
Technology is very good when it works.
I know, it's good when it works.
Anyway.
So we're going to start off in seated, but I want your bottom to be a bit further towards the edge of the chair.
Yeah, that's that.
Perfect. Okay, I want you to take your ball and pop it between the knees for me. Okay, fantastic. So it's kind of like a seated, we're not doing everything in seated, but I like to incorporate the chair sometimes because, again, in function, we do kind of do a lot of things that we can use our quads for and our glutes, and sometimes seated is a really good way of getting that kind of activation and function in. So let's just keep the ball between the knees, a little press, not a huge press, just a little one, shoulders back and down. And we want to kind of really sit on those bottom sit bones, tailbone's going to be down so we're not slumping into the chair there. We want to be nice and tall, just like we would be doing if we were in standing. Taking that nice breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just making sure that we've got those shoulders back and down, neck nice and long. Breathing in as we expand that rib cage sideways. Breathing out as we make those ribs go in. Breathing in. Breathing out. And again, breathing in. And out. Okay, one more. I want to gently put a squeeze on the ball. I want to squeeze into the ball and release. So I've got my hands on my thighs. You can have your hands down by your side, whatever feels comfortable. Squeezing the ball and release. Breathing out as we squeeze. Breathing in to release. We should get that nice inner thigh activation there, through there, which is always good. Breathing out, squeeze, breathing in, release, squeeze, and release. And again, 3 more, and 2, and 1. Let's just go for some shoulder rolls as we just keep the ball between the knees, but we haven't got a massive squeeze on it, okay? We do have the ball between the knees. Oh, nice big shoulder rolls. Lovely. And then let's change direction all the way around, up and down. Lovely. Okay. Let's bring those arms all the way up. Hands behind the back of the head. We're going to shrug those shoulders up. Shrug them down, reach all the way up, and then round towards the sides of the chair again. So breathing in, and out. Shrugging up, shrugging down, breathing in as we reach, and then breathing out as we come round in a circle. So one more. Breath in, breath out. Nice little shrug, and lower, reaching all the way up. And round. This time we're going to bend the elbows forward and have a little bend through the top of the back. So we're going to nice big breath in. Breathe out as the hands come behind the back of the head. Breathe in, I want to roll the top of the back, bring the elbows forward. And then come up nice and tall and widen the elbows. Then reach all the way up. And then round. And again, just so that we get the hang of it. Breathing in, breathing out. Elbows forward, little round of the back. Then we're going to come nice and tall, reach all the way up, and then bring those arms wide. So let's bring the arms all the way up to the top. Let's rotate round so that we've just got the arms on one side of the body. Come all the way up to the centre, rotate round through the trunk, and then arms come to the other side. So again, you won't be able to spin this arm. You might hit the back of the chair depending on what chair you've got, but that's okay. Just going around, getting a little spine twist in, all the way up to the top. Both arms come down, one more each side, all the way up. Lovely. Last one. Fantastic. Arms are going to come all the way up to the top. and then they're going to go behind the back of the head. We're going to go for a little lateral lean, so a slide. So we want to try and keep the elbows wide enough so you can see them in your peripheral vision, but not so that we're too far and really sticking out the chest. So we want to just slide in between those two panes of glass, using those muscles down the side of the body. And up. One more, then we're going to do an additional extension. So we're going to go for an arm extension. Over to the side, reach the arms nice and long, back behind the back of the head, and then back up. So it's a slide, extend. So I call these my ta-da arms. Because you go ta-da, ta-da, all the way up to the top. Over to the other side. Reach. One more. Back to the centre. Over to the other side. Nice big reach. Back to centre. And all the way up. And bring those arms down. Whoa. Whew. Give them a little bit of a wiggle if you need to. So, from seated, we're going to make our way up to standing. We're going to keep the ball between the knees to start with. Okay, and then we're going to move it. But if our aim is to get off the seat into standing without holding onto the chair. So if you need to hold on to your thighs and come up, feel free to. Just move my chair out of the way so I can come back a little bit. Perfect. So we're going to just keep the ball in between the knees and work into our foot series. So we're just going to start off with some squats. So let's squat down. Oh, sorry, that's my ankles. And back up again. Going down. Oh, there goes my other one, sorry. They're very noisy. And back up. Lovely. So again, think about that chair. Imagine that it's behind you and you want to sit. I've moved mine, but you can keep it behind you if you want to. Breathing out. Breathing in. Last 4. 3. Lovely. 2. And we're going to hold on 1, hold it down here. We're going to squeeze the ball, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze. Got 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the arms down by your side and then bring them forward. So we're literally going for a nice arm frontal raise. Lovely. Driving those arms forward. 3. Nice. Keep back still. 2. Nice and long. 1. Hold it there. Little pulses to finish. You know I like a pulse. Lovely. 2, 1. All the way up. Lovely. Now you can keep the ball between the knees, or you can bring it, not quite as quick as that, you can bring it down towards the ankles now and bring it towards the ankles. So the choice is yours. So this, I've got a big ball, this is the large ball, so having it between my knees is quite hard because it's a lot bigger than your two. So I like to drop mine down towards my ankles. So hands on hips, and then we're just going to go into balance. So we're just going to lift the heels. I'll just go sideways so you can see. I've got quite a good colour contrasting ball today. So you can see what's going on with my hips, with my heels. So just slight bend in those knees, and we just want to lift the heels up and control the down. Now you just saw that, I just kind of peeked forward a little bit. So we want to see if we can lift and lower under control. Now some people find the ball is a real help because when they get the wobbles, they push into it to help control the wobbles, and some people just think it's an instability and it's a much big kind of challenge for them. Not everybody's the same. We're going to, come back around. We're going to challenge our balance a little bit more now. So bring those arms in front to help stabilise. We're going to lift the heels, she says, come down into a little squat, then come all the way back up and then lower the heels. So it's a lift the heels, little knee bend, coming all the way up, and then lowering back down. Okay? And again, the depth of that squat is up to you. So if you feel like you're a little bit too wobbly and you just want to do a little tiny knee bend, that's fine. As long as you've got that control, and then as you get more control and stronger in those muscles, you can lower the squat a bit more, or you could just fall off, like me. All the way up. One. Lifting up, squat down, all the way up. Whoop, and I've dropped my ball. Oh dear. Not doing well this morning, am I? Okay, so let's do that into a full reverse foot series. So our full reverse foot series, I'll go sideways, is our lift, squat, then we lower the heels, and then we stand up nice and straight. So it's a lift, squat, down, and stretch. Lift, squat, down, and stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 more. Whoop. You can always tell my balance first thing on Monday morning is shocking. Wobbling all over the place. 2, 3, 4. 1 more. This is great for quads, glutes. Woo, almost, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, take the ball out. And then this is where you can use your chair for balance. Okay, so I'm going to put my chair to the front and see how you feel with that. So we're going to work into a little bit of balance, into almost like a pendulum balance. And we've done this before. I may not have done it before in this class, but we've definitely done it before in our previous classes that I've taught. So we're going to start with the feet in parallel. Now you can have the chair for support or not. Okay, so if you don't need it, your balance is tip top, you can take it away. If you prefer a little bit of support, then you can just pop your hand. No death grips, okay? Just a nice little bit of support on the side. So we're going to work onto the leg that's furthest away from the chair. I was going to say bar then, I thought I was back in ballet. From the chair, and we're just going to work into some hip circles. So we're going to bring that leg forward, we're going to sweep the leg round to the back, then slide it forward and point the leg, or point the foot. So you can see my big toe really doesn't leave the floor. It's a close chain or closed chain movement. We're going to be really stabilising through this side that isn't moving. If you prefer not to do it on your mat because it kind of picks up and it's a little bit of a, I don't like it because it grates there when I do my big toe, but that's just me. All the way around. Now you can add a little bit more of a challenge if you want to. You can slide round, lift the foot, place it back on the floor. So it's round into that circle, bend the knee, and then almost like a step forward. And again, you can do this all without the chair if you want to. So you've got 3 levels. And our 3rd level is, don't put the toe on the floor. So this, especially if you haven't got your hand on the chair, is quite difficult. You alright, Leslie?
Yes, my right leg.
Ah, right, okay. So then keep the hand on the chair,
Yeah.
keep the foot on the floor. Okay, 1 more. 3. Lovely. Then come off and give that leg a little bit of a wiggle, give it a hula. So a lot of stabilising goes on there. That leg doesn't even move. There's so many muscles working to keep it still. Okay, so we'll go on to the other side. Swap the chair over to the other side if you want to. I'm going to just leave mine here. And then we're going to go over onto the other side. So weight onto the other leg. Ooh, I was going to go sideways then. So forward to start with. And again, you've got those 3 levels, so you can keep the foot on the floor. You can lift that leg and bring it forward. Or you can keep the toe hovering off the mat. Now, this one's going to set you off balance for sure. But also, we just want to try and keep the body still. If we are putting our toe away and hovering it off the floor, we're trying, I'm going to see if I can do it. We're trying not to do this. Ooh. Okay, so we want to try and keep that nice and upright. Just we're only mobilise as far as you can stabilise. Nice. Let's go for 3 more. All the way around. 2. Beautiful. And 1. Excellent. Well done. Okay, pop that leg down, and again, hula it out. So we're going to do a little bit more of a pendulum balance, and we're going to work our way up to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my chair that side, because then you can see exactly where my feet are and what they're doing. So start off again with the leg that you worked first. Okay? And we're just going to have a little bend of the knees and a little hinge from the pelvis. So it's a little bit like scooter stance, but not quite. So we're just going to slide that leg back, and that's going to be our start position. You can see that from my tippy toe through to the crown of the head is a nice diagonal line. We're just going to do a little squeeze, and we're just going to hover that toe off the floor. Now this is where the chair comes in, okay? So if you feel wobbly, you can hold on to the chair. If you don't feel wobbly, you can put your hands on your hips. Okay, a little hover, squeezing into the big bottom muscle without dipping into the lower back. So if you feel it in your lower back, okay, come forward a little bit further and elongate the spine. Alright, 2, 1. Now this is where we're going to go for the pendulum. The arms are going to go wide. We're going to keep that big toe on the floor, and as we lift that big toe, we're going to drop the chest. Now it might be that you only get to here, and that's okay. It might be that you can go a bit further, or a bit further, or a bit further. Oh, my hamstrings. But again, if you just want to balance in that diagonal line, perfect. Yay! And then come up. Bring that knee up. And then we're going to go for one more. So let's lengthen into that diagonal line, and then as we lift, dropping that chest. Oh. And then slowly coming up. Well done. Oh. Give that leg a really good shake. It's hard, isn't it? So sometimes with that, again, everybody can do it differently, because some people are like, okay, I'm here, that's my balance, and that's fine. Some people are like, all the way down. Everyone's different. My hamstrings are really tight today, so there's no way I'm going
Well, you've been regrousing in patio, so we
my
this
goodness, so you are going to be tight then, aren't you?
we're all loosened up.
Oh, definitely. Right then, so let's go on to the other side. So again, parallel feet for me, and we're just going to do that little bend in the knees, little hinge from the pelvis. So we're not rounding or anything like that. We want to make sure that we're nice and long. Okay, just move my chair. There. So we're going to slide that leg back. That's going to be our starting position. Hips are going to be facing the long way of your mat. Okay, so if you start twisting, whoop. Oh dear, my balance is shocking today. We need to make sure that those hips are there. So we're just going to do those little hovers to start with. Little hovers. Hips are headlamp towards the top end of that mat. And again, if you feel it in your lower back, lengthen through the spine just a little bit more, or it might be that you're lifting too high. Okay, we want to try and keep the bottom muscle, big bottom muscle active. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. And then either hands on hips, or one hand on the chair and one hand wide, or 2 hands wide. We're going to go for that pendulum balance. Hips, ooh, hips down. So again, it's as the leg lifts, the chest and the torso, pendulum down. Oh, we're going to come up. Ooh, bring that knee up, just for a little bit of a balance. And then we're going to come back down, so you can have one hand on the chair, one arm wide, or both arms wide, nice capital T. If you can get down like low, I'm going to fall. And then coming back up. Oh, wow. Well done. Give those hips a really good workout. That's it. That's our balance done, you'll be pleased to know. Okay, so we're going to come back onto our chair. Okay. Whoop. Just move that around. Ow. And we're going to get our ball. Before you get too settled, make sure you've got your ball handy. Okay. So we're going to start off, and I'm going to go sideways so you can see. Luckily, these chairs are pretty high back. Sometimes I have the little stooly ones that are really low. They don't work very well.
Yeah.
So,
Hurt your back anyway.
huh?
Hurt your back anyway.
Yeah, because you end up
Too
leaning
low.
over like that. Yeah, exactly. So let's bring that ball. I want you to go right in the middle. So not at the bottom with your lumbar, a bit higher than your lumbar spine. So right in the middle. You should feel kind of quite nicely there. Okay. So for our seated exercises, we're going to start off with our hands on our either hips or quads. Doesn't matter, whatever you feel comfortable with. But we want to make sure that we've got our bottom wiggled not as far back as you can, but so that you've got good contact with the ball. Okay? We're going to work into a rotation to start with, so hands behind the back of the head, or if shoulders don't like that, you can put your fingertips on your shoulders rather than hands behind the back of the head. We're going to rotate round and then come back. Excuse me. Come back to the centre. Okay? And again, only rotate as far as you can maintain a nice posture. Keep the shoulders away from the ears for me. Okay? Breathing out. Breathing in. Lovely. Breathing out. Breathing in. Lovely. One more. Nice little rotation. And back. Fantastic. Okay, so just let the ball just slightly sag down a little bit and just wiggle your bottom towards the edge of your chair. And the reason why I want you to do this is because I've noticed when you're sat back in the chair, some chairs kind of dip, and I noticed these ones do. They dip down a little bit, which is, yeah, ergonomic for if you're sitting, but not for these exercises. So just let the ball just wiggle down the bottom there. You're not going to be pressing into it. So we're going to start off with just some basic leg lifts. We're going to lift one leg and lower. Other leg and lower. Now I'm not gripping into the side of my chair, but if you need to kind of put your hands either side to stabilise or behind to keep the chest open, again, no death grips. Okay, so shoulders down. Can you feel how your hips want to twist from side to side as you lift? Does one side feel harder to control than the other? I know I do. When I lift my left, my whole body wants to go. My right, not so much. It's bizarre. Okay, so we're going to combine those two moves. So hands are going to be behind the back of the head. And we're going to rotate. We're not going to crunch. Crunch can be an add-on. Okay? But we're going to rotate as the opposite elbow comes towards the opposite leg that's lifting. So it'll be right elbow, left knee comes up. And then everything comes back down. Coming across. And down. Breathing out. Breathing in. And again. And back in. And back in. 3, 2, and 1. And now if you want to do a nice little crunch, you can bring the elbow towards the opposite leg. So you can go down for a crunch. But again, some people might not feel that that's okay. You don't have to touch, the elbow doesn't have to touch the knee. But it might be you just do a little crunch down. Getting into those obliques. We've got 4 more. You can either do the rotation or the crunch. It doesn't matter which. 3. And 2. Nice and tall in between each rep. And 1. Brilliant. Bring those arms down. Now I want that ball to go back into the mid-back. Now if you can get it a little bit higher, so it's right in between the shoulder blades, fantastic. You will wiggle that bottom back into the chair a bit more now. So we're not at the edge of the chair anymore, we're at the back of the chair. Or as far back. So we're going to work into our back extensions. So the ball is going to be our nice little rolling aid, because we've done this on the floor, haven't we, where we've laid down and we've put the back in between the shoulder blades. This is a seated version, which I find quite nice. So again, hands behind the back of the head, just holding on for support, and we're just going to gently just bring ourselves over the ball and then back up. Breathing out. Breathing in. Now, if you're feeling like your lower back is starting to scrunch or tip, so I'm just trying to do a little bit of a demo here, but my lower back's getting really involved there. You want to just keep that tailbone shining right through the chair, like a laser beam is burning through the chair onto the floor. We want to keep that tailbone exactly where it is. Tummy muscles in and up, so activate through that core, and then that's hopefully going to keep that lower back still as we work on that upper back. So we're just going to have a little look. So in between each breath, we want to keep nice and full. So you want to lean over the back of the ball, that's it, and then come back. Lovely. You should feel this bit extending over the back of the ball, yes? Perfect. That's what we want. Lovely. Right, we're going to go 3 more. You want to try and keep that chin nice and neutral too. So Wimbledon week, so let's keep that tennis ball between our chin and chest. As we go over. One last one. And let's bring those arms down, drop that chin to chest, and I want you to just imagine we're doing a standing roll down, but we're in seated. The ball's going to drop away, don't worry about that, and we're going to roll down so that we can pretty much either touch our shins, ankles, or feet. Some people might go, oh yeah, in this position I can touch my feet, it's great. Take a breath in at the bottom, and then, oh, you might need to move your ball to be fair, as you come back up. All the way, rolling, restacking, replacing, all the way back up, reset the shoulders, and then we're going to roll back down, so chin first, round the upper back, middle back, lower back, the tailbone is probably peeking out at the bottom of the chair now, peeking towards the side of the room. And then again, let's get that tailbone back down so it's laser beam towards the floor. Keep the back rounded, rounded, all the way up. Oh, I've got just a tickle in my throat, I apologise. Back up and reset. Lovely. Okay, so from here we are going to go into lying down on our mats. Okay, so let's just come up nice and tall. And then we'll just pop the chair to one side. You can keep the ball and use it if you want to. So I'll show you the options that you've got. So we're going to lie down and we're going to get ourselves into our clam position. Okay? So how are you on that side, Leslie? Not so bad. If you need to do standing options, just let me know and I can give you standing options. So the ball, the ball can go underneath, the bottom foot so that our feet are elevated. Now, sometimes with our clams I say lift the heels, but I thought, well, as soon as we've got the ball out, we can let the ball do the work today. So hips are going to be facing towards me, arms going to be either overhead or folded like a little pillow. It's completely up to you. So we're just going to open our clam and lower back down. Lovely. So keep the ankles together and it's just the knee that opens. Open and close that. That's brilliant. Just going to check feet position just so that we're making sure we're in line. Lovely. There. That's lovely. Excellent. Awesome. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to open that clam and we're going to lengthen that leg. Okay? Then we're going to bring it back in and we're going to close the clam. So let that lower leg just rest on the ball, let it do the work, okay? Just let it relax on top of the ball and shouldn't feel any kind of pain in the lower leg from bracing. And that's what I quite like about the ball underneath that foot, is it stops people from kind of engaging and bracing through that lower leg. Beautiful. Back lower. Opening, lengthening, back, one more. Okay, hold it nice and long. I want you to flex the foot and draw some circles. So bring the leg back to 12 o'clock. So it's nice and long. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. Hold it there. Little pulses up and down. Fantastic. 3, 2, 1. And then come in and just keep that clam close. Now what I want you to do is just kick that ball away, but keep the clam position. Alright? I want you to lengthen. I say that, you might have to pick your ball up and put it behind you because we're going to sweep that leg forward. So we're going to just make sure that this top hip is away from the bottom hip. Okay? We're going to sweep this leg forward, flex the foot, and bring it back. Nice and slow. We're going to sweep forward, lovely. And then bring it back. We're trying to avoid rolling. If you feel like you're rolling forward, you can put your hand in front. That's fine. Lovely. Now we're going to start our reverse bicycle. So that is a sweep forward, have a stretch and a rest if you need to. Bend the knee, and then we're going to bring that leg back with the bent leg, and then we're going to straighten it. So it's just like riding a bike backwards. Not that a bike would ever let us ride it backwards, but if it could. This is the motion with our feet in the pedals that we would do. Keeping that foot beautiful, guys. That's really good because we're trying to keep that knee and that ankle at the same length as the hip. As we tire, we start kind of elevating ankles and dipping knees. So we want to try and keep it all in line. We've got 2 more. And we're going to have a nice stretch. I promise. Oh, well done. Last one. Stretching, sweeping, bending, and back. Okay, lengthen, and then come down and bring that leg forward. Oh, stretch that lower leg away, so you've got a nice, that's it, brilliant. Bend top leg, give it a rub, give it a thump if it needs a thump. Oh dear. I'm saying it needs a good knuckle. Ooh. So from here, whilst we're having a nice stretch, let's flex this bottom foot, okay? And we're just going to lift and lower. So think about lifting from right in here, right at the top of the inner thigh, okay? Lift and lower. So top leg's bent, that's it, right up, Brian, that's it, brilliant. And then we're just going to lift and lower. And again, it might not be a very big movement, it might be a really small movement, that's okay. Alright? 3, 2, 1. Well done, we're done with this side, but before we go on to the other side, we're just going to go on to our backs and work a little bit of abdominals. Okay? So we're going to go on to our backs. Feet are going to be up towards the bottom. Okay? And your ball is going to go under one foot. So we're going to do a little bit of abdo. It's not a hugely abdominal strengthening, but it's good for hip mobility as well. So foot under one, no, that's not right. That's not right. Ball under one foot, not foot under one ball. Okay, so let's roll that ball all the way out and then bring it back in. So we're rolling away and coming back in. So you can see when I roll out, my foot flexes, toes towards the ceiling. When my ball comes in, I point the foot. If that starts to cramp, obviously, you don't have to do such big movements with the feet. I know what it's like when you get that weird pre-cramp feeling, especially with pointing and flexing. It can get quite horrible, can't it, cramp? Right then, we're going to go for 3. Nice. And 2. And 1. Now, what you can do is keep that foot still for me on the ball. I want the ball, instead of, so I'm just going to show you, you can see here my foot is at like a diagonal line and almost pressing in a diagonal. So we can try and keep the ball flatly pressed with the foot going down towards the floor. I want you to think about your lower abdominals and bring the other leg up into a tabletop. So you've got one foot on the ball, one foot in tabletop. Beautiful. Let's go for a little single leg stretch. And back. So we're not putting truckloads of pressure on that ball. It should be enough to make those lower abdominals really start kicking in. Shoulders relaxed and down into the mat. Really difficult to do. That's my nemesis, my shoulders, when I do work like this. I find it really difficult. Breathing out for 3. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2. Lovely. Last one. Fabulous. Bring that foot down. Pop the ball over onto the other foot. We're going to give the other foot a little roll. So, leg that's just been on the ball is going to be on the floor, up towards the bottom. And the other foot's going to be rolling that ball away and back. So this side that I'm working now is the side I was working on with my sideline work. So it's actually appreciating a little bit of movement and stretch. Again, we want to make sure that those lower back vertebrae aren't pushed and squished and into the mat with bulging tummy muscles. We want to make sure we've got that tiny little gap in the lower back if you can. That's 4 and back. 3. 2, lovely, and 1 on that last one. We're going to come, she says, ball's going to stay underneath the foot's going to be down. I want you to think about those hip stabilizers, okay? So tummy muscles in and up. We're gently going to float that leg up into our single leg tabletop. We're going to single leg stretch and bring it back. So by this point my shoulders are like, all the way up, so I need to keep telling myself to keep them down. Okay, breathing out. And in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Lowering that leg down. Fantastic. So, make your way over onto the other side. We need to do our other side line work. So, take your time. We're going to get over into that plan position. Oh, up we come, up and over. And I'm going to, whoop, she says, so wiggle off mid over ball. There we go. Perfect. Oh. So again, just have a little look down at the feet. I didn't say this on our first side, but I say it every time we're in clam. Make sure that you've got your sit bones in line with your heels and your shoulders in line with your sit bones. So if you're too far forward, I can see my feet like halfway down my thighs here. So just make sure that you've opened up your hips a little bit more so that you can see your heels in line with your bottom. Okay? Pelvis laser beam towards me or on a little dip if you fancy. Sometimes some people's range is a little bit tighter than others. So again, we're just opening and closing, keeping that hip nice and still for me. So if we're rolling back to open the hip, we're using a completely different set of muscles. We want to make sure this hip stays absolutely stock still. But if you find it's too wobbly to have your hand on your hip, put your fingertips on the floor. There we go. 3, 2, lovely. Excellent. Good job, guys. And 1. Let's open that clam. We're going to lengthen the leg, bring it back, and then we're going to close again. So it's an open and lift, close and lower. So this is where people start opening and rocking through the pelvis. So we want to keep that knee facing me, okay? Yeah? rather than up here somewhere. Okay, 2 more, and then we've got those circles. Last one, open, stretch, back. 1 more, and then when you stretch and elongate, flex that foot, we're going to do those circles. And again, you can bring that leg back to that 12 o'clock position. Doesn't have to be forward at like 1 or 2. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and come back in. Beautiful. Kick the ball away. Kick it behind you, but keep that lower leg bent for me. If you want less stability, you can always lengthen that lower leg. But for me today, I'm keeping my leg bent. I think I've proved myself today that I am not very... my wobbles are taking over today. So we're just going in for those sweeps, sweeping forward. Again, rest when you need to. Come back in when you want to. If you need to stretch, stretch. That's fine. Again, we want to make sure that our body isn't rocking and rolling. So just make sure when we swing forward, we're not leaning the body back in order to get that leg forward. Okay, we want to make sure that everything is in line. Only thing moving is that long lever. So let's sweep forward. We've got our bicycle. So sweeping forward, bending at the knee, coming back and lengthening. We've got 4 more. Bend, sweep back, excellent guys, and lengthen. 3, bend, back, and lengthen. 2, oh, this side is really tough for me. Oh, 1 more. Oh. Beautiful. Lengthen it away, flex that foot, little pulses to finish. I know, it's really hard. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that side was horrible. That was really horrible today. And again, give it a really good rub, give it a thump. Take that time to really stretch that glute out. Ooh, I know, tell me about it. Woo. Okay, so while we're here, I've rolled forward a bit too much, so I am going to bring my shoulders up a little bit more. So we're just going to do our little lift and lowers, just little small lift and lowers. Just keep this top leg folded up towards your chest, that's it. And then we're just going to, again, it just gives you that little bit of stability forward, so we're not bending and rocking and rolling forwards. Let's go for 4. And 3. 2 and 1. Beautiful, excellent. Okay, so let's just stretch those glutes out on our backs. Oh no, actually in seated. So come up and we're going to, all over my bottom. We're going to come back into our seated on our chairs today. We're going to stretch the glutes out on our chairs. Yes. Sitting on our chairs. So, take your time, get yourself back into your chair. So you've got 2 ways we can stretch these side glutes out. Sit onto the edge of your seat. Don't sit right at the back of the seat, only because it just makes things with legs a little bit harder. So sit towards the front part of your seat. So your options are crossing the legs and bringing the knee in for a little bit of a cuddle. Okay, that's one option. Or you can bring the foot onto the knee and let this knee just relax out to the side. So again, everyone's range is different. If you find this isn't a very good stretch, from the hips, bend forwards, then you'll get it. All right. Some people find this harder in seated than lying down. I'm not sure why. I think it's just the angle of your hip socket maybe. But again, if crossing your legs is a big enough stretch, then that's fine. It's not a problem. As long as we're not rounding and hunching. Yeah. Hinge from the pelvis and lean forward. Oh, that was quite good. I love it. Okay, 1 more big breath in. breathe out, come up nice and tall, gently get that leg off from the other side. Now this is the side that I was working, so you may have done your recent side first. Bravo if you did, because I have to do my working side second. Ooh, that's a really nice stretch. I'm creasing my face up, but actually it does feel really good. It just needs time to develop. And I think some people are really scared of stretching because they go, oh no, it's going to hurt. It'll only hurt, obviously, if you go out of your range. So I think it's really important that you know where your limit is and go, okay, well, I'm comfortable here. Let's see if I can just develop this a little bit more rather than going, and that's when things get very painful. And do you remember the days of ballistic stretching? Bouncing ones?
No.
You know when you go,
Oh.
yeah. People would say, like ballet dancers go,
Yes.
like ballistic stretching.
Oh, right.
Scares
Good,
me.
yes.
Scares me
Injury.
witless. The amount of injuries. Oh my goodness. Let's stretch out through the shoulders. So bring one arm over, looking over that shoulder. So the arms are in one direction, the head's facing the other. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think some of Joseph Pilates moves were very ballistic stretching style
I
moves.
used to do Lottie Burke.
Oh wow, Lottie Burke bar. Yeah. I think there's some ballistic stretching. I've done a few Lottie Burke classes.
They're hard.
They are very hard. Very, very hard. I take the kind of bar. I used to participate in a Zoom class with a lady who was a Lottie Burke master trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, mine was.
I do work you hard. Right, from seated, let's get ourselves into standing. That's it, brilliant. Okay, step away from the chair, taking that big breath in, sweeping the arms up, and down, breathing in, and out, breathing in. Last one, big stretch at the top for me, and release. Thanks guys.
Thank you.
Good job, well done. Excellent.